For this project, I'll be building a walnut butcher block and knife rack using leftover material from my nightstand project. Unfortunately, this slab had a substantial bow and it was too wide to run through my planer, so this will need a lot of hand planing and sanding. For the knife rack, I decided to use the extra shelf I had made previously and just recut down the middle line. Before I start planing this board down, I'll sand it smooth at 80 grit. There were a lot of divots in this piece and I figured sanding first would make hand planing a little easier. I think for now, we'll call this side good, and then, yeah. Time for another half hour. I spent about half an hour sanding each side, which is probably overkill, but I figured the less my plane could snag on, the smoother the process would be. From the last project, this was the old drawer face that I cut too small. So what I think I might do for this, I'm going to route out a rectangle channel, and I'm going to try to line up the grain as best as I can. I've never tried repair work before, and I want to get practice at it, so I think I might do that and just kind of do a rectangle cut here to take out this knot. But before I do that, I'll clean up the live edges with a nylon wheel. The more I thought about it though, the more I contemplated if I wanted to repair it or if I should keep the natural look of this slab. But I decided to clean up the knot just in case I wanted to keep it. Yeah, this is going to take a good amount of planing. I decided to give my planer blade a quick sharpen before I start. I'm sure this will take a while and I don't want to start with a dull blade. To better hold the piece in place, I used one of my longer clamps as a backstop for the slab. I'm still getting comfortable using hand planes, so if you're wondering why I'm going a little slow, it's because I have better control doing it this way. I'm sure I'll get a little faster the more experience I get. I then flipped the slab over and started working on the other side. Yeah, I'm going to be here for a while. After a couple hours of planing, I got the warp down to under 1/8 of an inch, so I figured it was a good time to switch over to the sander. With the slab flat, I can now start working on the knife rack. I sanded all the pieces I would use down with 80 grit. Alright, so my plan for the knife rack is going to be, I'm going to route out like 1/8 of an inch channel that goes the full length. So basically it'll be like a cutout that runs the length of where these are going to be sandwiched together. And then I'm going to have a base kind of somewhere in there, and I'll try to line up the grain the best I can. The surface of these boards were not perfectly flush though, so I'll have to plane them a little first. After the surfaces were flush, I brought the boards outside to square up the edges on the miter saw. I then scored some lines that would mark the edges of the channels the knives would rest in. And then used the table saw to cut the channel edges as well as a groove for the router plane to fall into. I started using the router plane and decided that using my router jig would probably take a fraction of the time. So I decided to do that instead. I made some raised rails for the boards to sit on, that way the router blade would reach the depth I needed, and then routed out the channels. In case you're wondering, I use CA glue to mount the rails to the table, and then I use double-sided tape to mount the board to the rails. That way it doesn't slide around while I'm using the router jig. I then sanded the channels smooth at 80 grit. And here's the result, though I'm not going to lie, the shape looks kind of boring and basic. Looking at the butcher block, you've got the live edge sapwood that runs along the sides. I thought it'd be kind of cool if for the sides of the knife rack, if I were to cut and follow the grain of the sapwood so it was kind of like a live edge, and maybe I could even do a 45 and round it, I think that could look kind of cool. And yeah, the front and the back are going to be different because if I'm following the sapwood on the back, Like it's going to taper this way. So it's not going to be symmetrical at all. But I think that would look better and work better as a set with the butcher block being a live edge piece. But again, I'm just trying to steer away from making everything square. Like I want to experiment with shape a little bit more and get better at being more comfortable with organic shapes as opposed to just cut and dry 90-degree angles. So that's what I think I'm going to do for this project. I'm going to change it up a little bit. So I traced a cut line along the grains of the sapwood. And then shaped the edges with a jigsaw. But I think that looks pretty sweet. It looks a lot more organic and live edge. I think that looks a lot better than my original idea of just doing the square. Since the shape was no longer square, I have some channel edges to remove. I scored the sections I needed to remove with my utility knife, and then used the router plane to make the back flush with the new organic shape. I then cleaned up the new edges and surfaces at 80 grit paper. After this, I went to the store to grab some magnet strips to place inside the knife rack. While the opening for the knives should be nice and snug, I was worried that they may tip side to side, so I figured the magnets would help hold them in place. I then marked 2 1-inch channels to route out on each side. Here's a closer look at the channels. I then used the router plane to remove the material. To avoid getting the router plane hung up on the edges of the channel, I used 2 oak strips to raise the body of the router plane. Once all 4 channels were routed out, I used some Instant Bond CA glue to mount them in place. While installing the magnet strips, I thought of an idea for how to address the butcher block crack and knot. It's very ambitious because I've never done it before, but I might try doing some bow ties. I'll make a couple bow ties and then, oof, man, usually I'm not too nervous when it comes to trying out new things, but this is a very big chunk of walnut that I would hate to gouge and ruin. Before I begin working on the bow ties though, I'll finish assembling the knife rack, and here I'm sanding the inside down with 120 grit. I waited to attempt the bow ties until the knife rack was assembled and glued. That way I have something to work on while the knife rack dries. But here, I'm making some spots to countersink for assembling the knife rack. I then pre-drill all the holes, and then countersink all 4 mounting points. I then glued and fastened the walls of the knife rack. Alright, so you probably saw from the time-lapse shot, I saw a video on YouTube of a guy using sawdust to stop the spread of glue squeeze out, so I did that and I sprinkled sawdust on the inside of the openings so that way glue squeeze out wouldn't peer into it because I wouldn't be able to clean that up. I think I put a little bit too much on sawdust on because it created gaps, and so I had to go back through with some glue and some sawdust to kind of fill those gaps on the top and the sides. As unfortunate as it is, I wanted to wait and see if the glue and sawdust would help fill in the gaps. So I carried on anyway and began laying out the mounting points to connect the walls to the base. As with the walls, I marked, pre-drilled, and countersank all 4 mounting points on the bottom of the base. So I've got some scrap walnut sapwood that I'm going to use to fill in the heartwood spots, and then I'm going to use the heartwood plugs to fill in the sapwood. In previous projects, I've used these plug cutter bits on handheld drills. Using them on a drill press is definitely the way to go. I then lined up the grain direction of the plugs with the knife rack and used a spring-loaded punch to better set them into place. Once I'm done with this, I'll switch back to the bow ties for the butcher block. Alright, so after a little bit of trial and error, I think I got my bow tie shape, roughly. I'm going to cut it out with some hand saws, and then once I get a nice clean shape, I'll trace an outline on the walnut. Man, I'm nervous. I'm not sure if I mentioned this earlier, but this is a piece of walnut sapwood. I used walnut for the entire project since it is food safe. I understand that this is a crosscut saw. I just found it a little bit easier to start the cut with this before switching to the correct saw. Alright, so here's my bow tie, at least the first one. When you look at it straight on, I cut it a little crooked, so I'll clean that up a little bit and then outline it on the butcher block. I used a sanding block and some 120 grit mesh to clean up the sides. Now, I'm sure a lot of you may know this, but for those who don't, placing these bow ties along cracks and fractures in wood will help hold the material together as it expands and contracts over time. Just be sure the grain runs the length of the bow tie, or they could snap if the wood expands. After scoring the edges of the bow tie with my utility knife, I started chiseling out the shape with a mixture of different chisels. After working with walnut for a bit, it's probably my favorite material to chisel. It's not too brittle, so it doesn't splinter as often, and it's not too soft to where the wood fibers just get mashed around. Alright, so for my first ever attempt at doing a bow tie, I'd say that's pretty good. I'm not going to hammer it in all the way yet because I don't have any glue in there. There's a little bit of a gap on the front, but you know, I'm going to try to clean it up as best I can with some wood and some walnut, or some glue and walnut, not wood. And yeah, like I wasn't expecting it to be perfect. This was more of like a trial run, but I think that'll work really well. Now it's time to glue it in place. I've been using Titebond 3 for this project since it is food safe and creates a really strong bond. The edges had a small amount of gaps though, so I went around them with some more glue and sawdust to better fill in the seams. And then used a squeegee to work the mixture into the gaps. And then applied downward pressure with a clamp overnight. The next morning, after the glue had cured, I sawed off all the plugs on the knife rack. I used the painter's tape to help prevent the saw teeth from marking up the surrounding areas. I then sanded down all the areas with 80 grit paper. With the knife rack done, I can now plane the bow tie flush. Alright. I think that's good enough to sand. And then sand down the butcher block at 80 grit. Once I had finished sanding, I used a small carving chisel to remove the extra dried glue inside the knotted areas. For my first ever attempt at a bow tie, I'm actually not too disappointed. I think that turned out pretty decent. I've definitely got a little bit of glue squeeze out and sawdust that I gotta go back and clean up. And then there's this gap right here that I gotta fill with some more glue and sawdust. A little bit over here as well. But for my first time ever doing a bow tie, I'm actually pretty happy with how it turned out. I decided to make 2 more bow ties to better hold the material together. The split around the knot stretched well out into the center of the board, and I would rather do 2 extra and play it safe. Once the bow ties were cut out, I traced their outlines along the path of the fracture. Alright, time to carve those 2 out. And then chiseled out the openings. After, I glued them in place, just like how I did on the first bow tie, and then I circled back to address the gaps on the first one. And after 24 hours, the bow ties were ready to be planed flush and sanded. I think the bow ties turned out pretty good. There's a couple of spots, like I had a little tear out on this one. I tried to patch it and fix it. You could tell it's there a little bit. But I'm happy with how they turned out. So I'm going to go ahead and water pop this and get ready to start working my way up and doing the final sanding on it. Oh, that's gonna look awesome.
Now, I've mentioned this in other projects, but in case you didn't know, spraying the material down with a light coat of water before the final sand helps raise the grain, and it allows for a much smoother finish and even oil application.
Alright, so the pieces are almost dry. I'm going to start with 80 grit. I'm still using the 3M Cubitron stuff because it works really well. But I'm going to start with 80 grit, move up to 120, and then before I do 240 for the final sand, I'm going to brand my logo on each piece. Awesome.
After branding the logos, I did one final sand at 240 grit, and then vacuumed out all the residual dust. As with all my food-related projects, I will be using Howard cutting board oil and butcher block conditioner. First, I'll start with the oil. And after a couple of hours, apply the conditioner. The final step is to mount some rubber feet to the butcher block to prevent it from sliding around during use. And just like that, the walnut butcher block and knife rack are all done. I got a little out of my comfort zone with this project, but it has easily been one of the most enjoyable projects to work on. And while the knife rack may be a touch short for longer blades, I still think it serves its purpose well. The magnet strips on the inside also do a good job of keeping the knives from tipping and sliding around. While I'm happy with the results, I'll definitely have to keep practicing my chisel work and getting cleaner edges. And maybe not use as much sawdust to prevent glue squeeze out next time. Thank you all for watching. A full list of tools and materials used will be in the description below. Please let me know in the comments if you have any woodworking advice or cool ideas I should try for a future project. Thank you.